Hello, welcome to the Apollo 11 Stones discussion. My name is Mrs. Morin, and I am here with.
Mrs. Wyatt?
Let's go ahead and let's start off with the title. On your identification form, you're going to want to write the title Apollo 11 Stones. And it's actually called Apollo 11 Stones. You're probably thinking, Apollo 11, that sounds like space expedition. Well, you were correct because this was found buried in 1969 by a man who thought it'd be funny to name it after the launch that happened at the same time, around the same time. So the artists would be early humans, and we are looking at early humans that would have been here in Namibia. This is modern day Namibia. They would have lived around the Huns mountain range. The historical period, this is prehistoric. And we're talking about a very, very old piece that goes back at least 25,000 years ago. So that's pretty old. And then the materials and techniques. So what we're looking at here is actually quartzite and charcoal. And it's fairly small. It's there's other examples that would have also possibly been used. They used ochre and white on the stones, but this one just has charcoal on it, and it's on a quartzite stone.
So let's talk about the intended purpose. So, when we're talking about intended purpose, we're going into why it was made. So, these are so old that we don't have really any idea as to why it was made. We're just making guesses at this point. So, when we look at it, we know that it had to have been important and that it's small because they carried it around. And that is the art mobile. And the picture on it, let's go to the image, is a therianthrope. Now, a therianthrope is an animal with human characteristics. And when you look at this, it might take you a minute, but I want you to look at the back legs. The back legs are human, that he has feet, not hooves, and his legs bend the wrong way for an animal. An animal's legs bend forward. This one's bend back like a human's leg. So that's really interesting about it. We think that it might be like a human and some sort of feline and a bovine that are all mixed together. And the bovine comes in because he has the bovine attack, yeah, right there, right,
On
yeah,
the stomach, yeah.
on the stomach. Okay. And if you start looking at bovines like buffalo and things like that, they have that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know it's not an animal that existed then. It was what we call a composite animal, where they make up an animal out of several different ones. Um, so it must have had some sort of symbolic significance, but we're really not sure exactly what. We always go back and think that it probably has to do with hunting and magic. Stones and things are found further into the caves. And so we're thinking that it probably has something to do with having a good hunt or getting powers from that animal in terms of being like strong as an ox or
Mm-hmm.
brave as a bear or something along those lines is what we're thinking. As for our patron and intended audience, um, we think that it was probably for hunter gatherers at this
Yes.
point. But we're not absolutely sure.
Yeah, and by not absolutely sure, this is not just Mrs. Wyatt and I that feel that way. This is, there's no record of what this was actually used for. And so it's important whenever you're looking at prehistoric art to remember that prehistoric is pre-writing.
Right.
So we don't have any story to go along with this. We have to just go with where we find it, what it looks like. And sometimes we can infer things like it being possibly related to hunting and what the possible uses were based off of later cultures
Right.
and what they have done. So it's not just that we don't know and we're just guessing. It's it's that nobody knows.
Right.
Everybody just is guessing in the
Yes.
end. So it is it's an educated guess. Don't get me wrong, but that's what we mean by we don't know. And it's something to keep in mind whenever we look at these prehistoric pieces.
Oh, yes. It's very important.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed.